March Madness previews. Now, we're going to be breaking down all the teams that we are going to most likely be seeing in March Madness coming up here in, 3 or so weeks, give or take. I think March Madness starts March 16th, somewhere around that range. So we will be breaking down 2 or 3 teams each show as we get closer and closer to the tournament so that you guys can make well-informed decisions on who you will be filling out in your brackets. And we're going to have a bracket challenge here for you guys to check out and participate in as well. We're going to get those details out on a future show. I think it might be either Sunday or maybe next one. I don't know. We'll figure out a time and we'll get that out there to you guys so you can register and win some free prizes if you win. But let's go ahead. Let's shoot over. And then afterwards, we're going to do a round of the ultimate roster builder for the NFL. So we're going to get to that to close the show out. But let's dive in. March Madness is here, and we're going to be previewing all of these important teams. We're going to start out with three big ones here, Scotty, with Purdue, Arizona, and UConn. I don't know why I keep forgetting UConn.
Yeah, I was like, are you going to get there?
So we're going to be diving into some of these teams, what we like about them, what we don't like about them, and why we think they could either make a run or get busted out early. I know you guys are hyped for March Madness. And let's be real. March Madness is probably one of the, that first, 2-3 rounds of March Madness is probably one of the best stretches of sports on the calendar each year. I mean, it's a amazing time of the year. So we're going to be diving into all this. We're going to start out with Purdue. So we have their profile here with all the information, 34 tournament appearances, 2 Final Fours, no championships. They're 44-34 overall record in the tournament. Last year, as the number 1 seed.
What'd they do, Chris?
As the number 1 seed, they lost to Farley Dickinson.
You don't even know how to say it. You don't even know how to say that team.
It's because it doesn't exist. It's not even real.
I think it's fairly.
Fairly?
I think it's fairly.
Well, they're not real.
But I am
okay.
Tell me that's
They're
a real
enough to
team.
beat Purdue.
They're real
not
enough to
real.
they're real enough to beat Purdue. And I called this last year. This is one of my biggest picks. I had Purdue winning this first game, but I had them losing in the next round. So this was actually a nice little corner of my bracket that I think will maybe repeat itself. Right now, currently Purdue is we'll be referring to in some of these as KenPom rankings. So KenPom, they put together all of the different stats with adjusted offense, adjusted defense. They have all sorts of adjusted tempo and luck ratings and all these different things. Strength of schedule, all built in to a full ranking. And coincidentally enough, the 3 teams we're covering tonight are number 2, 3, and 4 overall in KenPom rankings. Now, Purdue, offensively, number 2 in the nation, defensively, 21st in the nation, even with your boy Eddie right here, who, the big boy who locks down the middle. Now, Scotty, what are your thoughts here on Purdue? And are they pretty much going to be doing something similar to what they did last year, which is kind of how I feel?
I don't think they're as good as last year. I mean, they're right on. I mean, they're going to, as of now, they'd be a 1 seed again. Now, the last time a 1 seed lost in the tournament to a 16, the next year they went on and won the whole thing, Chris. So it's possible. Can't correlate it year to year, but March Madness is guard driven, Chris. We've said it time and time again. It's about the guard play, and Edie's clearly the best player there. for Purdue, your lead guards like Lance Jones, who's fine, but like Edey's averaging about 24 a game and then goes down to 13 for the next guy. And he doesn't shoot at a high percentage. Like he makes the most threes, but he only shoots at like a 36% clip. I just worry about, their ability once like their offense is the number 2 KenPom team in the nation, but like they're not. I just think they're going to run into troubles. I really, really do. I think you need great guard play. If you're just throwing it in the paint he'll get his numbers. Edey's going to get his numbers. He did last year in the 16 game, but it wasn't enough. And they're just not set up to be a team, in my opinion, that's like built for a long run. Are they going to get out in the first round? That would be shocking. I would expect them to make at least the Sweet 16, but like, I just have concerns about this team. Like, I don't know how good the Big Ten is this year. I don't think it's great by any stretch of the imagination when you look at some of the, like, it's a big name conference, but some of these other conferences are probably a lot better than the Big Ten is. They're not living up to the hype this season. So I don't expect a long drawn out run for Purdue. I really don't. You can have Edey all you want, but they just and there's a weird style at times in the Big Ten where they get comfortable playing this, but are they gonna be able to pull it out? I don't see it.
Well, I mean, Edey, he's got 23 points, 11, almost 12 rebounds a game. But like the way they've lost some of these games, they lost to Nebraska in turnovers. They had like a ton of turnovers, which sunk them in that game. Then you had, I think they lost to Northwestern, or I think it was Northwestern, where they just couldn't hit threes. Like they shot a bunch of threes and missed them all. So they can go cold at times against some of these teams, and that makes them susceptible. And then they have the other loss to Ohio State. So, there's, I don't know. There's just something about it. I feel like a couple of those things, maybe a discipline type thing, but like defensively, I just don't know if they can slow down some of the more potent offenses. And when they get into a point where Edey is like kind of, I mean, we've seen this in the last couple tournaments where, I mean, was it not last year, the year before, where he was on the bench because he was not a great matchup for what was being put out there? That wasn't St. Peter's. That wasn't the St. Peter's year, was it? 2 years ago against Purdue. I could be mistaken. I don't know. But either way, there are matchups that Edey's not, and it
was that was in the Sweet 16, but they lost to Purdue in the Sweet 16, or St. Peter's. Sorry, they lost to St. Peter's in the Sweet 16.
They lost to St. Peter's in the Sweet 16. Yeah, I think that was the game I remember where we just saw Edey on the bench, and he was just sitting there, and he was like what? Like he's not effective. Like the way it wasn't in foul trouble, they would have had him out there. He was just a bad matchup, and I think that kind of creeps in when you get into these tournament matchups, that I think he struggles a little bit. Let's see. The problem is we have to pretend there are power conferences outside of the Big 12 and Big East. Joke, I think it was St. Peter's, something about Purdue and small college New Jersey schools. Yeah. UConn, Marquette, Creighton can make runs out of the Big East. Last year, I told this chat UConn, people laughed.
I don't think we laughed.
We didn't laugh
by any stretch of the
imagination. They weren't one of the teams that we probably. There was a lot of people that were actually pretty high on UConn. I think we were high on UConn, not maybe to win a championship, but we were high on them, and they could be a sneaky team. So we were in that ballpark. We didn't laugh. We were on we called them sleepers, and they won. So I guess that counts. By the way, if we're looking at odds, UConn is favored at plus 550 on FanDuel Sportsbook as of right now. Houston is second at 7-1, and Purdue is 7.5-1. Arizona is 13-1, along with your boys from Tennessee, Rec.
And to be clear, this field is wide open. These top teams, the number 1 team in the country to me doesn't separate themselves greatly from the number 30 team in the country, to be honest. Like, it is wide open this year in my mind.
Yeah, 100%. Like, there's not one team that's really stood out that you're like, they're a juggernaut. Like, you're not seeing that this year. Keep close. I've watched every game. And I'm as shaky on them as I am TCU. Well, I mean, Purdue has been shaky like so many times, and it's just like we've seen this song and dance before. So again, I wouldn't be shocked if they come in and they're a second or third round exit, and we're seeing this all over again. But Purdue, maybe they prove us wrong. Maybe this is the year, but I don't know if they fixed some of their issues.